So what are fostering myths? For me, fostering myth is just things people have heard in passing, oh, you can't foster because of this, and or questions people have because they've heard about this myth. It's always something which is people have said in passing, or you've heard from somebody else, and also the confusion about what is the difference between fostering. You can't foster if you adopt, or adoption is fostering. That's all the kind of myths I want really to, I've selected just a few, but there's lots of them out there, and I'm sure you've heard them. And so today we're going to try and go through them. So if you think you can't foster because of whatever the reason, you really need to think again, because today we're really going to bust some of these myths you've heard. People always could come up with, oh, you can't foster. They're always telling you things, or they've got opinions about things which they're not really, really the experts on it. Because we've been going for the last 22 years, we have really got quite a lot of myths which we've been told by people over the years of us running Banya. One of the first one which always comes up is that I can't foster because I'm too fat. This comes up over and over again, and this is really not true. The thing we are interested in is whether you're medically fit to foster. You could be fat, but are you medically fit to foster? And during the assessment, our medical advisor will make that decision after they get a report from your GP. That's part of our assessment, and being fat is not a reason for you not to foster. The other one which comes back over and over again is I work. So I can't foster because I work. And again, this is something which is completely untrue. There's a lot of foster carers who work, but it depends what work they do, whether they work from home, whether they work outside, whether it's part-time or not part-time, who else is in the household who would look after the children while you're working. And this is like the normal parent. Who looks after your children when you're working? What support do you have in your network? Is it going to be your neighbor? If you're running late from work, who can pick up that child from school? So this is all things we talk about during assessment, and how you can foster as well as work. Time and time again, I always have this: I can't foster because I'm too young. And it's really got nothing to do with age. It's just interested in your motivation. And for Banya, it's really 18 to 86 in terms of your age. And also what experience you've come with. What do you bring if you're a young person? You're 18, 21. I think our youngest applicant who ever applied to us was 21. What do they bring? They've been working with young people. They had lots to offer. So age is never a limiting factor. So again, it is false to say that I'm too young to foster. The other extreme is that I'm too old to foster. And again, your age, what we're interested in, you might be 80, but are you medically fit to foster? That's what we're interested. We cannot discriminate somebody according to their age. And that cannot be the reason why you can't foster. At Banya, we've always looked at the average ages of our carers. It's just an interest, nothing to do with whether they can medically fit to foster. And we found out that it's 46 for a woman, our average age, and 53 for a man. So you're never too old to foster. We just want to know whether you're medically fit to foster during the assessment process. Yesterday, I actually had somebody phone me up. They want to foster and say, before I go any further, I rent my house. And I said, wow. And she was thinking, the next thing she was going to be telling me, Yasha, I can't foster because I rent. And I said, no, you can definitely, you don't have to own your house. You can rent your house, but you need permission from your landlord. we cannot approve you to become a foster carer until we've got permission from your landlord. So nobody gets into trouble, and we don't place children where the landlord does not agree with you fostering. So again, it's not a reason which excludes you by renting. Time and time again, I get inquiries from people who are gay, who are lesbian, and they say, I can't foster. I've been told that I can't foster because I'm gay. Before we go any further, can you clarify this for me? And I always say again and again, there's nothing stopping you because you're in a same-sex relationship, whether you're gay or lesbian. It is false to say that you can't become a foster carer. You get assessed as anyone else, any other couple, and it's all about how competent you are to be fostering and how motivated you are and what you bring to fostering. It's got nothing to do with your sexuality. Another thing which comes up is that I've got a criminal record. When I was young, or 15, 16, I got in trouble with the police. I've been to prison. And people exclude themselves over and over and over again with this issue about having a criminal record. And you don't get excluded from fostering because you've got a criminal record. It depends what it is. It depends what the criminal record. If it's against children, then it definitely excludes you. It's sexually abusing children or physically harming a child, that will definitely exclude you from fostering any children who are in the public care. So it's about disclosing. We want to know what the record is, and then we talk to you about it. What have you learned from it? What, moving forward, what did you learn from that experience? Where in your life development were you young? And how you can use it in a positive way to a young person who might be coming into your care home, who has got a criminal record, and say, look, I've worn the T-shirt, I've been there, and it's of no, and this is how I've turned my life around, and now I'm a foster carer. Medical issues come up a lot for people that I'm sick, I've got a terminal illness, and I'm sure it's gonna come up. I'm sure I'm gonna get quite a few phone calls after this COVID that I've had COVID, so I can't foster. That is really not right. Again, we need you to be, as part of the assessment, everybody, whether you're sick or not sick, one of the checks we do is to have a medical on you, and we need our medical advisor to say you're medically fit to foster. You've got this illness, we need to be aware of it, and this is how we're best gonna support you, but you're still fit to foster and capable to foster. Smoking comes up time and time again, and with the good practice guidelines around passive smoking, we definitely approve people who smoke, but they can't foster a baby. So instead of you being approved from 0 to 18, it will be 5 to 18. But we've got guidelines about passive smoking. You can't smoke in front of the children. You can't smoke in your house. There's quite a few risk assessments we do around you smoking. And if for health, generally for health, nothing, we're not here to stop banning you from smoking, but we will definitely encourage you to give up smoking because it's not a good habit to have in terms of your health anyway. But you can definitely smoke as well as foster. So as you can see, these are some of the myths and some of the diverse issues and backgrounds people bring to fostering, and questions and myths they have. But I hope I've gone to some way to try and tell you that fostering Banya, we celebrate diversity. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. It doesn't matter what your medical history is. It doesn't matter what your criminal record is. We are into celebrating diversity because our children who end up being looked at, they're coming from diverse background. And that's really one thing which I know at Banya since 1996, we have celebrated diversity and differences and really gone into including. We are all about finding a ways in which we can include you in becoming a foster carer.